Welcome to another episode of Harpist in the Wild. So, last episode was about John Thomas and his The Minstrel's Adieu. I talked about the history of that, which in a way is ancient history. Whereas today's piece is much more personal and immediate because it's tied in with the pandemic. These wild times that we've lived through these past 3 years. And the piece is Cherry Trees at Merchiston. This is a piece that was written by Isabel Meares for the Edinburgh Harp Festival in 2020. So every year there's this harp festival in Edinburgh in Scotland at Merchiston Castle School, and in early April. It was scheduled to take place as usual in 2020, and then the pandemic happened and everything shut down. I just remember, for example, being outside on the street and no cars at all. And just all this uncertainty and things we didn't know. Reading the news, watching the news from Italy. And so, of course, the festival couldn't happen as planned, but the organizers were able to put together a virtual edition of the Harp Festival. And that has certainly been something that is positive that has come out of this, that it has allowed people to attend harp festivals that they might not otherwise have been able to. So they did this, and Isabel Meares, the grand dame of the Scottish harp, wrote this piece for the festival. And she writes about it that there are these beautiful cherry trees at Merchiston Castle School that bloom every year during the festival. And this year they will be blooming as usual, but there will be no one there to see them. And so the piece, I think, captures some of that sort of beauty and fragility and wistfulness, and it ends on an uncertain note, but also, I think, to me, a hopeful note. And so then fast forward a couple years here to April of 2022, and I had a chance to travel for the first time since the pandemic started. I went to Washington, D.C. to do a concert and masterclass, and then on the way home, I got a chance to visit a friend I'd made during the pandemic, Susan Graham, who's Oramakwa you heard during season 3. And one of my goals of that visit was to film an episode of Harpist in the Wild, with this idea of doing episodes throughout my travels this year. So Susan had scouted out some likely places, and we loaded her lever harp in the car, braved the weather. There were a little bit of rain here and there, but we found this window of time to record cherry trees in a beautiful woodland location with a beautiful stream running nearby. And so to me, it's a great bookend, this piece that was written in the early days of the pandemic, and then filming it, maybe not I don't want to say at the end of the pandemic, but certainly at a hint of a return to some sort of new normality. And as I say, the start of my summer and fall of travels. So I hope you enjoy Cherry Trees at Merchiston.